Hey folks. So in a lot of readings and a lot of talks, you'll hear about the chakras. Now, some of us know extensive, expansive, amazing, incredible information about these things. So that's incredible. If you have more information than I do, then please feel free to link and share. Things like this. The teachings that I have integrated over the years in comprehension of the chakras is that there is 7 primary ones in the center of our being. They are energy centers, but they are also essentially like realms of capacity. There's a variety of things that can be held energetically in these spaces, and then they hold different kind of narratives and patterns depending on each of the centers. So we'll just start with the primary 7 first. The lower one is a red chakra, and it's in between the anus and the genitals. So it's down below. And that one can be activated by doing clockwise hip circles and envisioning that there is a round, red, rolling orb rocking around. You soften your knees, and you just do a gentle little hip circles, envisioning this red rolling orb going around. You can then envision that your whole body is filling up red, and then the whole room is becoming red. This is how you can enter into the energy center of your chakras. Our root chakra is our tribal connection. It is our tribal primitive drive. It is our base things, and it is everything that tribe looked at us and said, yes, you are our ancestor, come and be with us here. And that's the beginning of the foundations of the ego and the identity, so that you root into the earth as spirit and you stay here. So it's in there that we have all these buttons, tribal beliefs, patterns, cultures, behaviors that are put into us right from the time that we're little, that we don't do that or we don't get love, or you do this because that's what grandma does. It's the interesting stuff like that. Then our next chakra is a orange chakra. It is right below the belly button, and it is a figure eighting kind of thing. So you can do just figure eights like you're drawing a pencil with a pencil that's attached to your hips. And so one on each side, you got 2 pencils, draw 2 figure eights. And you can activate that chakra again, filling yourself with the sensation of orange, filling up the whole room, going in there. That's where children cord to. That's where partnerships and relationships cord to a certain extent. That is our survival chakra. And that's where our sense of get out actually comes from, when our gut instinct is actually to do with death. Not just a pushing my will, making me uncomfortable kind of situation. You're trying to manipulate me gut feeling. It's like, no, I'm actually going to die. And that's where that chakra all of a sudden goes, beep, 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 get out. It's actually coming from that orange chakra, which is the sacral chakra. So that's sex, that's relationships, that's your intimacy. That's where you're corded to your parents, and your parents are corded to you. And so when your parents die, it's a huge, huge tear in that cord, because they are corded to you and you are corded to them for your survival. And as you get more autonomy, you don't lean on them. It's not as strong. But if you never really walk from your parents, it'll be a lot more devastating when your parents pass, if your survival is quite linked to them and that you did them in a figure eight. The next one is a solar plexus chakra. That's this guy right here. It's literally where our belly fire is. This is where the chemical reaction of our guts happen. And in there, that's where our willpower sits. That's our yeses, that's our nos. So when we're arguing with somebody, or somebody is kind of trying to do something and we get that sick to our stomach feeling, that's because somebody is pushing on your boundaries. So when you get that gut feeling that's like, I don't know, I don't like this, listen to that. That means that this person is probably trying to manipulate you and is pushing on your boundaries. This is where your yeses, this is where your nos sit. This is where your fire is. This is where your oomph back is. This one can be activated by doing belly rolls. Seeing it like a pinwheel begin to spin. Then up here we have our heart on the left side, and then we have our energetic heart on the right side. This is a green orb with little pink petals on it. And so this is the space of our passion. This is the space of our confidence. There is a barrier that as you break from tribe and you start to activate your serpents and they start coming up, there is a place where they knock into here. So that's before you break through the heart, you're going to have this intensity of feelings about your boundaries, about your survival. About tribe, about culture, about us, about them. Your solar plexus chakra is also where the us and them narratives start coming in, that fire of like, I'm not like you because I'm like this. But that black and white thinking, staying in that actually doesn't escalate us up. So when you're really in that black and white thinking, you know you're in your boundary center. You're in your solar plexus chakra. And then it's time to focus through meditation, through the things that you love, to break through into your heart. When you come into your heart, you experience period madness. It just is what it is. They used to grab us and put us in monasteries and things like this to keep us from the chickens killing us. When we go crazy, we just go a little nutty as we tend to fight our internal demons. So the process of the heart is woundology. All of a sudden, talking about our vulnerability becomes strength. We become capable of sharing our wounds and being proud of them. That is the language of the heart. That means that you're bridging into heart space when you start feeling comfortable and understand that vulnerability is, in fact, strength. And instead of being, don't talk about those dirty laundry things, instead you start being like, no, that's my fucking muscle. Those painful things made me strong. And yeah, I'm scarred, but I'm fucking beautiful because now I've got my stripes. So it's that confidence. It's a green orb. It's got the pink petals on the outside, and that's where your passion sits. That's where you earn the sword of discernment by crying. There's a sword in the stone in that realm, and you only get it when you break down, you feel all the truth of your difficulties, how hard it's actually been, and you cry, and you surrender, and you say, I don't fucking know anymore, and you just burst, and then it releases the sword in the stone with rose petals. You have to surrender into that crazy sense of tears, though, of all the pain, all the craziness, all the intensity that you've experienced, to release that beautiful sword that comes in that. Then you go up. This is a blue chakra, but right in between there's a lesser one right here where this little divot is, and that's a teal one. And that one filters out pollution, noise pollution, things like this kind of stuff. And then we have a blue one here, which is how we communicate. So if you're struggling to speak, blue is a really good one. Oh yeah, to activate the heart chakra, little chest circles. So little belly dance moves I discovered are actually really amazing for activating the energy centers in our body. So throat, little stretches, neck stretches, chatting with birds, learning about birds because they are to do with the neck and communication because they live in the air realm, which is words. Our words are powerful. We are capable to spell. Spelling, casting a spell. So what we do though is we got to come up, come into the heart, and before we can come into here, we have to go back and revisit tribe. Tribe freaks out. We walk from tribe though. Tribe's like, daughters do this, brothers do this, sisters do this. And we're like, actually, no, I love me and I love you. And that doesn't actually work for the highest purpose of everything. Tribe tantrums. Then you continue on. You go to your relationships, your roommates, things like this. And it's like, it was kind of okay, but it wasn't. And then you love yourself too much. You can't do it anymore. So then things often break. Then you go to your job, your boundaries with your job, with your boss, with the willpower stuff. And usually it breaks too and you change jobs. Then you come to your heart and you start harvesting, this is my truth, this is my power, this is my confidence, this is what I want to do here in this life. When you start harvesting that and putting the discipline into that, that brings in this nice soft pink, just calming self-love that like grandma loves you. You fucking can do no wrong. You are so precious. That fairy godmother love comes in. Then as you raise up in your self-love, you're able to give your love to the people around you. Express yourself, share your gifts, and feel confident doing that. Then you begin to communicate. You communicate your love to the people. You communicate your truth to the people. You communicate your survival needs to your people. And you begin to communicate. Then this comes up and there's another barrier here and we start to slam into that. And then when we break through, we have another period of madness. The whole universe makes sense or it doesn't make sense. The conspiracy theories, everything. That's okay. That's just another part of it and you'll get through. It's just a little nutty as everything awakens in the third eye. Your psychic senses start to get activated, get more like in tune. You start to know. You have higher levels of intuition. And then the cranium splits open and the crown chakra opens and we have our connection to spirit. There's chakras above the head. There's also a purple chakra in the back of the head that holds all of your ancestral memories. Neanderthals had a more pronounced back of the head, and with Neanderthals, they hypothesized that all you had to do was show them something. And then the child would remember everything the family's lineage had ever done about that. So in process, going into the back of here, into the purple chakra, there's a beautiful book for me For other people, it's, displayed differently. But there's a beautiful workbook with all your ancestral knowledge in it. Mine comes up with a nice big tree stump and roots out and then is opened on a book. Other people talked about having them on like sheets on a clothing line of the things that their ancestor had done. So that's in the purple chakra back there. There's multiple chakras above the head. Adam is 7. Adam was the first humanoid born with the 7th chakra open. And so Adam was split from Eden, but it was really this fiery sword coming down. And if you look at the cranium, I've talked about this before, it looks like it's been split in two, and that's the 7th chakra. The 7th chakra gives us the sense of I am separate from you, separate from the universe. The autistic children, though, are children that are being born with multiple chakras above the head open. So they have this crazy sense of reading the ethers, and it's just overwhelming. So then they end up closing down and making themselves a little shell of a being because they can't handle what's coming in. The rest of our being, I've been taught that we have a black chakra below our feet. That is our driving, like, on the track of options of life. So there's like this little black maze work of the ways that we will find our way, and there'll be points where we get to make decisions, but that's that drive when you just relax and you let your feet go, and your feet just kind of like, no, actually we need to go this way and this way and this way, and that comes from that little black chakra. Each of our hands and our feet have this divot in them. Yeah, little divot right there. That's because it's got a white, clear channel chakra. And then each of the joints, each of the little wiggly joints, have little white channel chakras in them. That's why the hands are so good for healing. So one thing I was taught with before massage, make a little bird, big bird beak, beep, 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 and then you whack, and you grab hold of it, and then you do clockwise circles for 30 seconds to 3 minutes. And you really hold onto that chakra and you rotate it around, then you go back the other way. And this is how you really open up and get that big channel chakra all ready to be the channel for universal energy. If you're ever doing any healing work, do not channel your energy into the person. It's not useful for them. Your energy is good for you. Their energy is good for them. So you just channel neutral, universal energy source from way out beyond the second seal in the cosmos, or you channel universal golden earthen energy up through your hands. Your feet are also an incredible channel because they've got those little thingies. I don't have an exercise for like physical, but I do a breath work where I breathe in through the bottom of my feet and then I send my roots down into the bottom of the earth, connect in, and then draw that warm, molten, golden earthen energy up through the feet. So that's how I activate these guys. These guys are functional for channeling. So these are great for universal energy, hands-on healing, works really well. And then a feet, of course, for grounding, connecting us into the earth, getting us solid. Each of our joints has a little chakra that's a little channel chakra, so each of our elbows. And then our organs also have lesser chakras that have information that is based in what those organs are getting up to, things like this. So really lovely. The study of chakras is massive and immense, and there's all these different layers and cross-pollinations between anthropology and different ways of comprehending the human experience as an energetic being and these different realms and that we hold within ourselves. One of the things that you can do is go into each of the chakras with a tone. So A, E, I, O, U, I, O, hum is another one that I've heard. So you can check it out. There's tones and values to vowels to activate the harmonics of the chakras so that they're vibrating. They say that the English language has been completely flipped to be in opposition with the manifestation of the universe. It is the opposite of Sanskrit. It is opposite a lot of the ancient languages, which makes it so when we speak, we don't manifest the world because our words are chunky. We also are taught to say don't and can't, and the grandfathers don't hear don't. So when you say, I don't want no cookies, I just don't want no fucking cookies, you just put it out with a lot of force because you're swearing. There's an intensity, there's an anger, there's a heavy emotion which shoots off your words into the ethers. It's coming out in the air realm and you are saying it. But You say, I don't want cookies. And all of a sudden, all these cookies start arriving. More cookies arriving. And then you start getting agitated. Ah, why all these cookies? I don't want any more cookies. Why do I keep no cookies, no cookies, no cookies? Meanwhile, all creator hears, all grandfathers hear is cookies, cookies, cookies with intensity. Because grandfathers don't hear don't. So if you don't want cookies, then say apples, apples, I want apples. And then you'll start getting apples. So the way that the constructs of our language is set up is not so that we're manifesting our reality appropriately. And English itself is set up harmonically to be opposite, so that we're not speaking and having rapid manifestations happening when we speak right off the bat, and we're also not moving through our chakras and taught not to speak with other generations, because you get punished, you get harmed. So it's been a lot of unlearning that we're going to have to do. We're also in Pluto retrograde right now, starting on April 25th, going into October 12th. So there's going to be reoccurring patterns about relationships and things and behaviors that you once did that are coming up right now to be gutted. So take a look at how are you doing something the way that you once did, and how do you need to change it at this time. So, chakras, chakras, chakras. Oh, and the last thing is that go into each of the chakras, activate them by tone, by color, visualizing the color coming all around, and clean up the room. Go into each of the rooms and clean them up. See if there's jars that need to be broken, sacks, there's garbage, there's, different things. Go into each of those chakras in a meditation and clean it out. You can do a little bit of movement, get that chakra going, seeing the whole thing filling you up with red, feeling the warmth of red, the whole room becomes red. Then you go into a little door, go directly into the root chakra, and then start to identify, are there things in there that don't need to be in there? Clean them up. And go all the way through your chakras, cleaning them up, clean 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 up. And that's a really good overhaul to do. I've got a really nice movement, sound, and then visualization, guided visualization that I do as far as a walk through the chakras. So if at any stage that interests you, it's nice to do it in a group setting, but it also can be done solo. So feel free to reach out, and that's something that we can do one day, either remotely in a Zoom meeting, or we could do when all of this coronavirus stuff has simmered and we actually can hang out again. We can do it as like a woman circle or a human circle, depending on your choice of narratives of the bodies that you interact with and within your safety of your cleansing spirituality work. All right, well, be well, all of that jazz. There's some things to chew on. Fucking watermelon.